Who dat to the Who Dat Nation, and welcome to the Dome Patrol podcast, your podcast for the New Orleans Saints here on the KB Radio Network. How are we doing, everybody out there in the Who Dat Nation? We have arrived to week 13 of the NFL football season, and the New Orleans Saints will take on the Detroit Lions this Sunday, 12 noon in the Dome. Saints are 5-6. The Detroit Lions, on the other hand, are 8-3 at the top of the NFC North. Okay. This I've been going back and forth in my head for the past 2 days on how I'm going to approach this show. The reason I'm saying or feeling this way is because internally, upfront and honest with all of the Who Dat Nation, I'm so checked out with the New Orleans. I'm so done with this team, almost to the point where I just want to stop doing the show. But so you may ask the question, why are you doing this show? Well, here's the honest to God truth. I love the New Orleans Saints. I've been watching Saints football my entire life, and I've been through it all. I've said it on this show multiple times. I've been through the bags over the head era. I've been through the cha-ching era. I've been through the Ricky Williams in the dress era, the Mike Ditka era, the Aaron Brooks throwing a 30-yard pass behind him era. I've been through all of this. I've been through the Super Bowl, Sean Payton, Drew Brees era. I've been through it all with this team, and no matter what they did or didn't do, I still watched them. I still love them. I still rock the Florida League. I still scream Who Dat. I love this team. And so I can't just not do this show. Plus, I love all of you too. And so I want to give y'all this show. But honestly, I don't know what to say. I honestly don't know what to say to hype up this team or hype up this game. Because this team is done. This team is who they are. They are trash. They are trash. It was displayed ever so eloquently this past Sunday against the Atlanta Falcons. They showed you who they are as a team, as a coaching staff, as an organization. They showed you who they are. And it feels like they doubled down on it a little bit, throughout the week. I finally sat down and watched the post-game press conference, right? Because I avoided it immediately after the game because I didn't want to hear from nobody on that team. It was just frustrating. But I finally sat down after I cooled my head, calmed down, and sat down and watched it. And I quickly realized that I should have followed my first mind because I got mad all over again. Actually, it was worse. It was worse after I listened to Dennis Allen talk, after I listened to Derek Carr talk. I realized something. It dawned on me. These guys, with those two as the heads of this team, because that is the head coach and that is your starting quarterback. Those are your two main components of this team. And neither of them take blame for nothing. They take blame for nothing. You remember a long time ago in a galaxy far, 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 far away when Drew Brees was our quarterback, and no matter if we won or lost, Drew Brees after the game would get up in front of a microphone like I'm doing right now, and the first thing that'll come out of his mouth, I got to do better. I should have did this better. Even if we won, he never threw anybody under the bus. Never. At least not publicly. Not publicly. He'll take the blame. He'll take all of the slings and arrows, even though nobody ever gave it to him, even in times they should have. But he He stepped up like a man and took those. He owned up to his mistakes when he made them. And so I'm listening to Derek Carr, and at no point did Derek Carr say, "Man, I shouldn't have thrown that pick." No, his excuse was the receiver ran the wrong route. The receiver ran the wrong route. That may be true. That it might be some truth to that. But he didn't see that the receiver ran the wrong route. There was nothing. Anyway, he never owned up to it. And when a reporter asked him about the fumble that he had, now thank God for A.T. Perry who recovered it, but that fumble he had, oh, he talked about how he scrambled, how he was able to get out the pocket and all this here. No. Let's talk about how you held that ball like a loaf of bread. Do that. But the dude does not take accountability. He does not take responsibility, I should say, for his mess ups. And we're not winning with this guy as quarterback. We're not winning with that guy as the head coach. That guy being Dennis Allen. Because in that same press conference, this dude had the audacity. And I had to rewind it and listen to it again because I'm not joking. I thought I heard him wrong because there was no way he uttered the words that ultimately he actually uttered. And I heard correctly the first time, but I had to rewind it and listen to it again. This dude, after being asked about the red zone inefficiency, actually said we're doing good in the red zone. I'm paraphrasing. I can't remember his exact verbiage, but we're efficient in the red zone. Do you not realize you just stepped off of a field not even 10, 15 minutes ago and you went 0 for 5 in the red zone and you had the nerve to get up on the podium and say we're doing better in the red zone? How much better can you get? What, we were 0 for 10 last week and we cut it down to 5 this week? Which one is it? I don't understand. This dude is a moron. This guy is an utter moron. And to add insult to injury, we got Alvin Kamara. God bless Alvin Kamara. It really pains me to look at this dude week in and week out. Not because of his insufficient output on the field. No, it's because of all the output he's putting on the field. Because he is the one man who's showing up every Sunday. And I should say one man because God knows there are a lot of players on this team, if not the majority of them, who are truly giving it their all week in and week out. It's not on them. But Alvin Kamara goes out there and truly gives it his all for this. And we're wasting prime time with this guy. Running back's lifespan in the NFL is very short. And we're wasting away one of the best running backs in the NFL. The reason he's not the best or in the conversation of being one of the best in the NFL is because he plays for the Saints. It's because the Saints are the Saints' worst enemy. And they are holding this guy back. But in any event, he gets up. He didn't take the podium. He was in the locker room. Reporters were talking to him. And he said what everybody has been saying. I know I've been saying it. So it must be true if he is saying it because he's actually on the team. Alvin Kamara said, we don't have an identity. And it was like, oh my God, you know, when you're in church and you hear confirmation, when the preacher is preaching and you hear something that is, you know, he's preaching on something that you're going through. And it's like, man, he must know, you know, you know what I'm going through. You know, that's the scripture I needed to hear. And that's, and you jump up like, yeah, that's it. Yeah. Confirmation. I did the same thing. It was like the Holy Spirit hit me when he said that. I was like, you're right. Thank you. Finally, somebody says it within this organization. Then we fast forward 24 hours later. Dennis Allen has another press conference, and one of the reporters asked him to elaborate on what Alvin Kamara said, and this dude fixed his mouth to say, "I disagree. We have a fast and efficient offense." Huh? Wait, what? Y'all didn't score a touchdown last week. Bruh, is this dude high, drunk, or both? I don't know. Is he that delusional? Is he that secure in his job that he's just blinded to the actual facts? Stevie Wonder can see that their offense is trash. This team is trash. I don't know what to say. Honestly, I don't know how to talk up this team. I don't know. The head coach and probably your best player on the team, they don't see eye to eye. That lets me know there is dissension there. Dennis Allen doesn't have this locker room like a lot of people think he does. This is a cluster that's going on over there on Airline. A cluster. And we're going up against one of the best teams in the NFC this week, who is out for blood. This is an angry team. We have a lot of returning people who were in the building 2-3 years ago. And this is the homecoming to them. They're in a not so much a division race because they pretty much got their division on lock right now, but they're also in a hunt for that number one seed. They're still in the hunt for that. So they're not coming to play around with the Saints. They don't have time. They're not here to suffer fools, people. The Detroit Lions are for real. I've been scared of this team for a long time. I knew last year that they were coming. I knew last year they were almost there. Actually, you can go back 2 years ago. It started to turn in Detroit. They were in some games. Now, this is a team that, we're removed 10 years removed from them going 0-16 or something like that. I forgot how long it's been since they pulled the bed like that. But we have turned the corner. They have done a complete 180, and they are one of the best teams in the NFL. Like I said, for the last couple of years, they weren't quite there, but they never got blown out. They were in every game. It didn't matter who they played. They were in every game. It was like one possession games that they lost. It was never a double digit deficit for this team. They just could not get there. It was just a matter of time. And now it's all starting to come together with Dan Campbell as the head coach. I love Dan Campbell. That's a leader of men. You have Aaron Glenn, who was also over here on the Saints coaching staff under Sean Payton. He's the defensive coordinator over there. You have Alex Anzalone, who was a former linebacker for the Saints. He plays for Detroit now. CD Deuce is over there now, but I think he's on IR. He won't be playing in this game, but you get the picture here. This is like a homecoming of Saints alumni returning to the Dome. But the New Orleans Saints will begin a 3-game home stretch starting this Sunday against Detroit. The Saints are looking to even up their record at 6-6, where they share the same 5-6 mark in the NFC South with the Atlanta Falcons, who we lost to last week by the score of 24-15, giving Atlanta the slight lead in the division. New Orleans does hold a 13-12-1 regular season edge in the all-time series against the Detroit Lions, having won the last 2 meetings against Detroit. 14 contests has been decided by a touchdown or less. The Saints are 9-5 in home contests against the Detroit Lions. Detroit, who currently sits atop of the NFC North with a record of 8-3, have a 3-game win streak snapped on Thanksgiving Day with a 29-22 loss against the Green Bay Packers. New Orleans will look to take advantage of their first 3-game home stretch inside of the Superdome since 2014 in an effort to take back control of the NFC South and improve their home record to 2-2. Overall, 4 of the last 6 games are in the Superdome. Detroit ranks 10th in the NFL in defense, 5th against the run, 20th against the pass. The Lions are 2nd overall in offense, 6th rushing and 3rd passing. Yes, you heard me right. The Lions have the 2nd best offense in the league. New Orleans is ranked 12th in the NFL in total offense, 11 passing and 19th in rushing, and 11th in total defense, 23rd versus the run, and 7th against the pass. Looking around the rest of the NFC South, the Atlanta Falcons will travel to New York to take on the Jets. Carolina and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers will be playing each other this Sunday, so they can carve each other up if they please. And Carolina just fired their coach just a couple of days ago, so they are going with a interim coach, and we have to play them the following week in 2 weeks after we play the Lions. So there's that. Let's go over the stats, or team leaders, I should say, going into this game, starting with passing yardage for the Detroit Lions. Jared Goff, he is 275 for 405, 3,075 yards, 18 touchdowns, and 8 interceptions. For the New Orleans Saints, Derek Carr, he is 244 over 372 pass attempts, 2,535 yards passing, 10 touchdowns, and 5 interceptions. I know y'all kind of scratching y'all heads, and you probably like, man, you've been saying 10 touchdowns for a while now. Yeah, because Derek Carr hasn't thrown a touchdown in 3 weeks. Just wanted to throw that out there. For rushing leaders for both teams, for the Detroit Lions, we have Montgomery. He has 133 carries, 648 yards rushing, and 9 touchdowns. For the New Orleans Saints, of course, is Alvin Kamara, 119 carries, 457 yards rushing, and 2 touchdowns. Leading receivers for the Detroit Lions, it is St. Brown with 82 catches, 993 yards receiving, and 5 touchdowns. For the New Orleans Saints, of course, it is Chris Olave with 63 catches for 771 yards and 3 touchdowns. Going through our injury report, and boy, we have some names on this injury report this week. Starting off, we have kicker Blake Grupe, right groin. He was limited in practice this week. He is questionable, but from what I'm understanding, from what I read, he's probably not going to play. Center Eric McCoy, shoulder, he was limited all week. He is questionable. Chris Olave, he was in concussion protocol. He was limited all week. He is also questionable. Tackle Ryan Ramczyk, knee, he was limited, questionable. Cam Jordan, defensive end, his ankle, he didn't practice none this week, but he is listed as questionable. We have a few players, and Kendrick Miller, running back, ankle, he didn't practice, but he has been listed as questionable. I don't expect him to play. We have a couple of players who have been ruled out. Shadid has been ruled out this week with a thigh injury. Also, Marcus May, shoulder, he has been ruled out, as well as linebacker Pete Warner, also with a shoulder injury. He has been ruled out for Sunday's game against Detroit. And speaking of Detroit, on their injury list, we have Alex Anzalone, linebacker. He is doubtful for Sunday's game. Guard Jonah Jackson, he is questionable for Sunday's game. Hendon Hooker, quarterback, He is on IR, as well as CJ Garner Johnson. He has been placed on IR for the Detroit Lions. Keys to victory this week. Um uh well, keys to victory. Even though I don't think the Saints will win this game, if the Saints have any snowball's chance in you know where, the only way they're going to have to find a way to get pressure on Jared Goff. They're going to have to find a way to make him uncomfortable. I don't care if you send zero blitz on every single down. I don't care. That's your only shot. Because if you allow Jared Goff to sit back there in the pocket and bake a cake, put the icing on it, slice it up in pieces and hand it out to the coaching staff and everybody on the sideline, then walk back, pat the ball 3 times, and find his receiver downfield, we're in trouble. We have to make him uncomfortable. It's the same formula when we played him when he was a part of the Rams. You know, Jared Goff will get you if you let him sit back there. But if you make him uncomfortable, like any other quarterback, let's be real, any other quarterback, I don't care if it's a mobile quarterback or not, but he's not mobile. And that's the Saints' bugaboo, is a mobile quarterback. Jared Goff isn't running. Matter of fact, if Jared Goff runs on the Saints, we got more issues than with what we initially thought, man. That is embarrassing. If Jared Goff rushed for over 10 yards on Sunday, I quit. I'm gonna tell you, I'm quitting, because this is clear embarrassment of a franchise. But yes, you're gonna have to get pressure on him. We're banged up in the secondary, as you could tell, with Marcus May and Marshawn Lattimore not being available to play. Is going to be kind of hard back there in that secondary. But I still have faith in all the pieces that we do have on this team. But it's going to be tough, and it's going to come down to that front 4 or the front 7 to be more accurate. But that's it. Offensively, I mean, it's score. That's your keys to victory for the offense. Score. Actually put up some points. Don't rely on your kicker, and your kicker hurt. So we can't even rely on that this week. So you have to score. I don't see the Saints coming out victorious Sunday. I'm sorry. This is and I would have picked that even if we would have won last week. Because Detroit is a good team. Straight up. I'm not even fronting. I'm not saying this out of spite because I'm mad with the Saints. This is real. They are a better team. But you know what's crazy though? As I'm saying this, and it didn't just come to me. I always felt this way because the Saints always do it. You see this game here? This will be the game the Saints go out here and beat these people 43-7 or something. They do it all the time, and it drives me up the wall. But when you play somebody like a Carolina or an Atlanta, you struggle. That's what they do. They've been doing this for years. But do I expect that this Sunday? No, I don't expect that. We're too banged up, and offensively, it just isn't working. This offense is not working. This quarterback is not working. I don't see it happening, because another thing you have to factor in, this is a high-powered offense, and I'm talking about Detroit. This is a high-powered offense, and you're going to have to keep up with points when it comes to this team. As of late, haven't seen that happening from this offense. So my predictions, I don't have a score, but I do have the Detroit Lions coming out victorious this Sunday in the Superdome, 12 noon. But who knows? I could be wrong. And if I am, I'll be the first to jump on here and say I was wrong. Doubt it, but I'll be the first to say that I was wrong. And you can find me apologizing this Sunday after the game when we recap the Saints versus the Lions this Sunday. But I'd like to know how you feel about this upcoming game, about this team as a whole. Let me know email the show, kbradiopodcast@gmail.com. Look me up on all social media platforms. That's another way to get in touch with the show. Just search for the KB Radio Network. Also, KB Radio Network channel on YouTube. Subscribe and like this video if you don't mind. Also, don't forget about the 5 stars, the reviews, and sharing this show if you're listening on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartRadio, wherever you are currently listening to the Dome Patrol here on the KB Radio Network. Everybody, thank you for joining me for this preview of the New Orleans Saints versus the Detroit Lions this Sunday, December the 3rd, 12 noon on Fox. I'll speak to you after that game, hopefully with a victory. Until then, I'm still, even though I'm mad as Tucker when his mama died, I'm hot as fish grease with this team, but I'm still going to be screaming. Who that?